Hey everyone, today I'm gonna talk about my top 5 nitpicks that I still have for The Wheel of Time Season 1. Now I know what you're thinking. Shut up, book cloak. First of all, rude. And I think I might fall in the show sworn side of the spectrum, but I've also decided that I don't like either term. In the end, we are all Wheel of Time fanatics, and as any fandom, we have our differences. Some people like Aes Sedai politics, some people like Matt and Rand walking through Camelin learning how to sing. In the end, we're all waters. I know that we're supposed to be called Dragonsworn or something, but I love waters because it sounds like otters. Anyway, having said that, I'm really less of a purist. You can see my top 5 book to show changes over here. And that being said, I do still have some things that rub me off the wrong way in the TV series. Friends on the other side of the spectrum might be thinking, what the fuck, Bodhi? Why are you contributing to the negativity? First of all, constructive criticism isn't negativity. Secondly, as the books aren't perfect, neither is the show. And there are things that I might be nitpicking on that people, generally enjoy. At the same time, I might be enjoying something that people are, holding deplorable. One thing I learned in social media is the fact that there are so many different opinions out there. What someone might like, someone might absolutely hate. So in the end, before you get into a huff, remember the name of the channel. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. So this is just mine. My asshole. Not my asshole. My opinion. Just somebody's opinion.
Somebody's opinion.
Before I get into it, spoiler warning, we're going to be talking about all of Season 1 Wheel of Time and with some references to Book 1. So anyway, nitpick number 5, the Gateway Ter'angreal. So, this nitpick would not have bothered me had the X-ray not explained that Moraine had been using a Ter'angreal to create a gateway to Tyr. At the time I watched the episode, all I thought was that it was like a slice of the dream world where Moraine was able to use the Ter'angreal to get to a dream world version of Tyr. The fact that it was a gateway Ter'angreal bothers me because of two things. Number one, that means gateways aren't new in this turning of the wheel. And number two, it opens up so many other questions like, can it go somewhere else? Why don't they just use this to get to the eye of the world? This won't matter if they won't see the Ter'angreal again. But then if we don't see this Ter'angreal again, why did we introduce such a Ter'angreal in the first place? Like, couldn't there have been a secret room for the two to, canoodle in? Again, had it not been explained, I would have dismissed this. But because it was explained as a gateway Ter'angreal, then it puts the onus on the show to world build with it. Because if not, why in the world do we get introduced such a convenient Ter'angreal? Because it could have been anything else, literally, like the secret room idea. Nitpick number 4. Valda captures Perrin and Egwene for no reason. First of all, I do want to say that I love what the show has done for the White Cloaks. I love their zealotry. I love the monastic feeling of their White Cloaks. I love the fact that they're more dangerous and they seem to be hunting down Aes Sedai proactively. But, I still find Valda's capturing of Perrin and Egwene so flimsy. Like, so flimsy. Because in the book, Perrin had killed 2 White Cloaks and seemed to be in league with wolves. If I were a Wheel of Time character in the book, I would definitely think that he's a dark friend too. But in the show, Valda captures them because he remembered that they were with Moraine for some reason. And then he does capture them. And then he does some Sophie's Choice shit where either Egwene channels and is condemned for it, or she's not able to channel and Perrin dies. Like, what? So some might argue that this gets to showcase how unhinged or zealous the White Cloaks are, but surely there should be some logic in it. And then Valda realizes that Egwene isn't an Aes Sedai because she said that she's not an Aes Sedai, but he still wants her to channel for him. But if for some reason Egwene is a non-Aes Sedai channeler, isn't that more dangerous for Valda? Because isn't that like having a non-constrained, a non-three oaths constrained channeler in your midst, and then you're just daring her to channel to you? Also, if it's his character trait to capture any woman channeler, then why isn't he just roaming around the countryside, like getting any woman, like all those Tuatha and women? Why is he concentrating on these two? I'm just really confused as to why that is. And I thought that was such a waste of the Valda character because he was so nicely introduced. Like it was so creepy. But I would have hoped that they had some logic in it. Nitpick number 3, Aggromar. So this isn't a show plot hole or a story device that didn't make any sense. It's just a piece of confusion as to why they had to change the Aggromar character from a gentleman warrior to this sniveling little boy who barely did anything by the end of the series. Book Aggromar was like one of the great captains. He was an utter Shinaran. He was chivalrous. He was respectful to Moraine. And then Show Aggromar was like this massive prick with a big chip on his shoulder to all Aes Sedai and Moraine, not just to them, but also to his father and to the armor of the father or something with authority he was just being bitchy about. And this is the only reason why I believe that he is still alive. And I know that he was stabbed by a Trolloc spear, but on TV show rules, no body, no death. And I'm firmly in the camp that he survived, he will learn from his mistakes, appreciate the one power in the Aes Sedai and battle tactics, and maybe becomes the great captain that we know and love. Because if not, if this isn't a stepping stone to his character, then why did we need to change his character? What would it have changed had it been the book Aggromar, who was the gentleman? Like, what would it have changed in the story? Nothing. Like, it could still have been the same story and we would have still loved Aggromar. And so I'm hoping he's alive and we would have improvements of Aggromar. If not, then we have completely wasted Aggromar as a character. Nitpick number 2, the tell. Now, people know that I am super duper annoyed by the tell. It is clunky and it diminishes Nynaeve's badass skill of tracking Lan all the way through the wilderness. It also makes Lan look incompetent because as a partner for 20 years, as someone who is basically the bodyguard, you would think that he knows all the tells that Moraine can do so that he could protect her from anyone who's tracking her. So I have since rectified this in my headcanon with the following statements. Number 1, Lan knew how to track Moraine. He didn't need Nynaeve to tell him the tell. Number 2, he wasn't tracking Moraine because of her implicit wish that she wanted to go alone with Rand. And number 3, he ends up going because Nynaeve asked him to, and not because he didn't know how. This fixes a few things. Number 1, Lan is competent again. Number 2, we see how Nynaeve's explicit wish overrides Moraine's implicit wish, and that's just beautiful show relationship dynamics. Of course, this entire headcanon could be brushed away had they not mentioned the tell at all. It could have literally been a scene of Lan saying that he's not gonna follow them, and then Nynaeve saying, nope, you are gonna follow them. Like, this would have been so in character of Nynaeve. Instead, we've got the entire fandom debating what the tell was, which was funny to be honest, but it's also got, the show haters up in arms when there was no need to get them up in arms for that specific reason. And now we get to nitpick number 1. My biggest nitpick continues to be the complete lack of fear of the Dragon Reborn in the show, in the world. Because in the show, what are the things that we learn about the dragon? Number 1, he's either gonna save the world or damn the world, whatever that means. Number 2, he's the strongest channeler that ever lived. which is a good thing. And number 3, the old dragon tried to cage darkness forever. But there's nothing that, evokes a primal fear, which is what I had loved in the books. It's called the Dragon's Fang because the dragon is associated with the Dark One and all the dark things. He's called the Kinslayer, and everyone knows that he killed his entire family. Everyone knows that he broke the world with all the Aes Sedai. What we get in the show is like a very vague fear of the men and women who called themselves dragon, but nothing much else. I hope this is something that they expand further in season 2. I said this in one of my reviews before. The state of the prophecies of the dragon in this turning of the wheel, like all the records are burned, every village has a different theory about the dragon. So like the state of knowledge is way less in this turning of the wheel, which in itself is an interesting concept where there are different interpretations of what the dragon could do. But when it's translated on screen, it just looks clunky and in such a way that people aren't even invested or interested about the dragon. Like, why should they care about who is the dragon? Which becomes a problem about caring for Rand the character and Rand. So those are my top 5 nitpicks for the TV show season 1 as of this moment. I am hoping that they somehow resolve this for season 2. Or maybe it's actually resolved in the show already and I just didn't notice. Again, not everything that I nitpick on would have been something that other people have nitpicked on. And the things I nitpicked on might even be something that people love. And again, I'd like to say, I'm not hating on the show. I love the show. These were just the 5 nitpicks that really brought me out of my loving of the show. And it's things that I wish are improved moving forward. You can check out my top 5 book to show changes over here. And watch out for my next video where I talk about the top 5 nitpicks that I did get over with. And I know that some of these nitpicks that I got over with are things that people will be shocked that I got over with. But that's all for now. Comment down below and let me know what you thought about my nitpicks. What were your own nitpicks? And maybe you enjoyed some of my nitpicks. Please tell me if you're a Tell lover. I would love to know your thoughts about the Tell. And last but not the least, I am doing a mug giveaway, a frosted mug giveaway. I'll put the photo right here. Please look at the directions down below on how to get a frosted mug. Please like and subscribe. And if you got really angry, just remember, it's just somebody's opinion.
Somebody's opinion.